want you to have those kind of values where you go out and just kill yourself. Die quietly, without protest. You see? You should not have children you cannot take care of. And then they see to it that you can't do what? Take care of them. Yeah. Then they want you to be moral and not have any. So what kind of program is that? It's a program for what? Genocide. Genocide. A white man's morality is a morality of genocide and death. I'm telling you. And it hides behind an appearance of being good. But when you really look at it, you'll see behind it in terms of black folks, it is hiding evil. And what makes them angry and what is making Quayle angry is the fact that despite all of the things they do in unemploying black men and creating the kind of problems that they do, we keep what? Reproducing. We keep staying what? Alive. And that is called being immoral. And we're going to be preached to about that. They have a conference over here on population control. Again, lecturing to the third world. Well, I'm for population control. I'm for reducing the population. Let's remove all the Europeans from the world. Yeah, you know, it never seems to occur to many people when they, you know, we automatically assume when they talk about population control, too many people, they talk about who? African people. Well, if you're talking about reducing population, why not reduce white folks? It's the same as a reduction of population, isn't it? And move more black people into Europe. Let's take that over. They've been taking over our territory. Why not take theirs for a change? You know? But always, and you'll see New York Times, you know, putting a picture on Africa, putting a picture on, you know, South America somewhere. What about the Europeans? Well, the world is outstripping, the world's population is outstripping the capacity of the earth to take care of people, to feed people. Well, couldn't that be the result of the fact that there's some very, very, very greedy people on this earth? That if we develop the values of sharing, we can take care of more people. But you got some people here who are a small fraction of the world's population who consume the largest fraction of the world's resources. Yeah. Small. And you see them everywhere. Even though they may be the richest parts of the richest segment of their population, the top 10% has maybe 90% of the wealth. So the other 90% has to scramble for the 10% that's left. Who should be gotten rid of then in that situation? Yeah, it's like a person that comes in and robs everything you got. So, well, you don't have enough to eat, therefore I must get rid of you. But we're falling for that. We're falling for that. And the game is going that way. No one is talking about the greed, the overconsumption, the hoarding of wealth. No one is talking about people who, like Jobs or Walton, who just died here, and others who worth supposedly $7 to $8 billion and who pay their workers minimum wage, a wage that they can't live on. No one talks about why McDonald's must sell every hamburger in the damn world and not allow moms and pops and other people to engage in that trade. No one talks about the Walmarts that just go down across this country and destroys cities and towns and destroys businesses and destroys the whole spirituality of towns and cities and creates a mall culture for America. and stretches from one end of the highway to the other, these gaudy signs with all these fast food joints. Yeah. It is not the values of African people that should be discussed here, but the values of those people who run this society that should be discussed. Those values such that they think they have a right to take up all of the world's resources and use all the world's resources. What kind of values are those? What kind of values leads a man to want to have $8 and $10 billion that he could never use and utilize, and dismiss workers and send families into bankruptcy and children into starvation? What kind of values are they? Why don't we discuss those kind of values? Why isn't Clinton talking to that kind of congregation? But he comes and talks to the victims, the ones who are thrown out and the ones who've been dispossessed, as if they are the cause of the problem. These people who've been dispossessed and thrown out into the street and who cannot live and make a good living are being preached to as if they are the problem. But this is a part of the game. This is a part of shaping consciousness of people. You see? Creating a certain consciousness, creating a way of looking at the world and a way of looking at ourselves. And this is the responsibility of the ruling class, to turn the consciousness of the people who are ruled backwards and turn it around and turn it against itself. To make those who are the victims think of themselves as the perpetrators. And you have a culture that is dedicated to this kind of ideological propaganda. You see it again and again. Why must black people be talked about over and over? Why must black crime be focused on over and over again? Because it keeps us from focusing on the criminality of this society. It keeps us from focusing on the criminality of those who call themselves the ruling group of the society and the cream of the crop. Crime, so-called, is often a response to a criminal situation. And it is a rational response to a criminal situation in many instances. What amazes me now is how we we poor people can sit here and let the rich take the wealth. Why we aren't going out here right now ripping their mansions down and taking the wealth back. Yeah. How have we been convinced that the wealth we produce for them and the hard labor we produce for them, they have the right to acquire and maintain for themselves? How have we come to believe that kind of situation? How have we been convinced then to fight and kill each other over the crumbs that these people have left to us? And yet, when there is a need to protect their wealth, they want to take our sons and our daughters and place their bodies in the front line to defend their piggish attitude. The only crime that is occurring here is the fact that we are attacking each other and not attacking those who are in control of this society. That's the crime. That we sit here and live in a criminal society that can rationalize the raping and robbing of the wealth of the nation and giving it to a few people, and then trying to convince the poor that they are the threat to the society. Because it is the poor who end up in jail, regardless of race. And now to be poor is almost seen as a criminal offense in and of itself. To be poor is to be suspected of being a criminal. Yes. And we fill the jails then with the poorest people. And you'll find that time after time. Those are the people who are there. And yet those who rob the nation of its wealth, those who rob all the land, those who take and hoard, those who can't even pay a basic minimum wage, while they get more money than they ever know what to do with, are seen as moral.